why. Mighty suspicious to me. And CBS has 6, and they're dillies. I'll try to read those to you next week. To cue up this audio tape. There's a terrible thing happened yesterday afternoon. On Tuesday night,
I don't have any
audio.
Do you think there's something wrong with these?
You got no video?
Audio. You think there's something wrong with these?
Yeah, there's no video either. There's nothing in there now.
Tomorrow. I said, okay. So Wednesday, I called, and this woman answered, and I said, do you have any parts for a 1980 Lincoln? She said, no, we have no parts at all. Why would somebody Tuesday night tell you to call Wednesday and ask for auto parts? You call Wednesday and ask, no, we have no parts at all. And then she hung up. And so I called again, and then she hung up again. Now this is Kensico Auto Parts, and it's on Kensico Avenue, here in White Plains, just off of Westchester Avenue. Down opposite, well, it's where there's the 2 gasoline stations and the fast food shops. They're not fast food, but you know, convenience shops. I'm trying to think, Permanente, opposite Kaiser Permanente on Westchester Avenue, Kensico. Okay, so then I called back and I said, why do you keep hanging up? And then she got very vile. In fact, she got obscene. And so I called again, and then a man answered, and he says, White Plains Police Department. He's impersonating an officer. So I called again, and he says, White Plains Police Department. And so then I called the White Plains Police Department to report that here's somebody saying, impersonating his officers. And the White Plains Police Department, as ever, blockheaded, infuriating, derelict, and I just want you to hear this whole record. Catchy tune, isn't it? This is the call before that.
Why do you keep hanging up? Do you know who you're talking to? What's going on there? Listen, bitch, take it in your motherfucking ass. Do you hear me? Okay, and I'm going to play this back for you. Stop for tomato and Then I call back, and they answered the phone, White Plains Police. Impersonation of an officer. Did you just impersonate an officer by chance?
Did I who?
Did you,
This is the police department, ma'am. How can I help you?
Oh, I bet it is. What's your number?
Huh?
What's your number?
949-3298.
I don't think so. My telephone number says that I have you on 949-3052.
I don't know what to tell you, ma'am.
Well, I think you do.
Something I could do for you.
You know what to tell me? You're lying.
Something I could do for you.
You're lying. And you're also impersonating the police. And it'll be easy enough to give the police your number. And it'll also be easy enough to
whatever you want to do, ma'am.
and it'll be also easy enough to play this recording for them. .2:17 p.m. This is Kensico Auto Parts. And the date is April the 19th, 1995, Wednesday. And the time, again, is 2:18 p.m.
White Plains Police Officer Moscow.
I just called Kensico Auto Parts, and they answered the phone, White Plains Police. They're impersonating an officer.
Kensico Auto Parts?
Yes, their number is 949-3052, and they answered the phone twice, White Plains Police.
Your name?
No name, anonymous, and I have it on a recording.
Okay.
So,
You called this 949-3052?
yes,
Okay, hold on 1 second.
Yeah, for what?
I'm just going to give you another officer right now to take some more information from you.
Okay.
Okay?
It was Officer Moskowitz. I wonder if he's related to the fellow that I like so much who was a county sheriff.
Yes, now who are you? I'm Officer Morton. Officer Martin? Morton. Oh, Morton. I just called this number, Kensico Auto Parts. It's a junkyard over on... I need my pad. Go ahead, I'm listening to you. Okay,
I need
it's
my
over on
pad.
Kensico Avenue? Yeah. Off of Westchester Avenue? Yeah. Just beyond the gas stations? You know what I mean? Yes, uh-huh. Okay, I called that number, and they answered the phone, White Plains Police. What number did you dial? 949-3052. And I know that to be their number because my telephone has a digital readout and tells me what number I'm dialing. Okay. Just like right now it says 422-61111. Okay, so do you know who you spoke to, or that you just hung up? No, I did not hang up. So who did you speak to, ma'am? The name wasn't given. And so I called again. And a woman, the first time I called, was extremely obscene and abusive, and I recorded that. And she hung up, so I called back to play her the recording of her obscenities. And she hung up a couple more times, and then a man answered, and he answered White Plains Police. This, of course, was a scare tactic. And you have that recorded also? Yes. You have that recorded where he answered White Plains Police? Yes. What is your name, please? No name. Anonymous. So what is your name? Anonymous. Well, ma'am, if you want to report this, then we can want to follow. Okay. I'll call up Jim Bradley, all right? All right. You know why? Because you know what I'm saying, ma'am? No, I don't know what you're saying. I told you it's anonymous, and I'm telling you what happened, and it's your job to investigate it. So I called up again, and he answered again. Okay. White Plains Police. I said, do you realize you're impersonating an officer? Yes, ma'am. Can I say something? Okay. If we follow this up and you have a recording... Well, then don't follow it up, okay? I'll report it on television. Don't follow it up, and I'll play this on TV, too.
White Plains Police, Officer Heraldez. Hello? Hello?
And so where'd you come from? And what happened to Officer Morton?
Okay, hold on 1 second then.
No, I'm not holding on. Goodbye. I'm just going to play it on television.
Hello?
No, never mind. I'm going to play it on television. If I were you, I'd call up this number, and I'd look into this.
What's the problem, man?
I just got through telling one person the problem, and I'm not...
Hold on 1 second.
I'm not holding on. Goodbye.
That's the way a police department should act. It seems to me that a police department should intelligently take down the information that is given and go and investigate it. Why should they get into a fight with the public? Why should they acerbate somebody? But that is typical of the block-headed White Plains Police. Wilson, Babe, Comboy, Koza, Cousins, Odell, McGrath, Karamitzos.
Hi, Michael Koza owes Glendora $30 witness fee. This is about the 10th demand. Okay, he's not in. Can I have him call you back, or you want me to just give him a message? No, I don't want to talk to him. But I think it's about time he paid. Okay, $30. Yes, for August 22nd. August 22nd. Okay. And October the 25th. October 25th. Yes, and what's your name? Tracy. Oh, hi, Tracy. Hi. No joke. Yes, I got a joke. They called him Sanka. His nickname was Sanka. Because he had no active ingredient in the bean. Okay, Tracy. Okay. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Well, I think there's been 12 demands on Michael Koza to pay those witness fees. $15 for August 22nd, $15 for October 25th. Crooked as he is, he's never paid them. I have a prayer for you. As on this day we keep the special memory of our Redeemer's entry into the city, so grant our Lord that now and ever he may triumph in our hearts. May the King of grace and glory enter in and let us lay ourselves and all we are in full and joyful homage before him. Through the same Jesus Christ our Lord we ask it, who taught us to pray, Our Father. Here's the closing hymn. I couldn't remember all of the words, so I had to go look it up. It's number 232. Spirit of God, descend upon my heart. Wean it from earth, through all its pulses move. Stoop to my weakness, mighty as thou art, and make me love thee as I ought to love. Hi there, everybody. How you doing today? Just miserable, right? Do you like my set? You know, back when television first started, you had to build sets like this. You had to build a living room and a television studio because the cameras were so big, you couldn't take them out and go into a person's home. You know, the cameras were like, all right, you can't even see it. This screen is too small. But the cameras were like this wide and about this long and about this deep, and you just couldn't take them out. And then, of course, you needed, and there was no such thing as videotape. It had to be sent back to the TV station. How did they do that? Did they have microwave? I guess they did have microwave in those days. And what are those days I'm talking about? 1950, 51, all of the 50s and the 60s up until maybe 68. And then, of course, the technology for small cameras, such as the work that this one is doing, that technology did not come in until 1974. So, you'd have to go build a set like this in a studio. You'd have to go out and buy a living room suite, and then you'd have to buy plants and things like that, and coffee tables, and set it up like a living room. Now, this is what happened on all of these fights for rights, crooked lawyers, crooked courts, corrupt courts, on the week, and of course the lawbreakers themselves, on the week of April the 20th to April the 27th, today, 1995. And the first thing, of course, is the jokes. The speaker said that the boss's talent had never been questioned. And one employee said to another, question has never even been mentioned. And Pete says there's nothing that he wouldn't do for his brother, and there's nothing his brother wouldn't do for him. And that's the way they go through life, doing nothing for each other. And Henry says that if he ever needs a heart transplant, he wants the heart of his boss. It's never been used. And now to report to you what has happened on Scott Lord. This is the lawsuit, the law-breaking of Conrad Duberstein, John Robert Hall, judges in the Bankruptcy Court, Eastern District, Andrew Maloney, former United States Attorney, Howard Jones, former United States Trustee, Neil Mann, former United States Assistant Trustee, Teresa Kavanaugh, present United States Trustee, Joseph Derby, acting a Pinkerton employee working in security at the Westbury Bankruptcy Court, Eastern District, and over in Privado Road. And of course, the one who started all this, Scott Lord, and the two people he committed fraudulent conveyances with, Jan Stahl and Jeffrey Barnes. The only two things that happened this week were this letter to James Picken, who is the Commissioner of Consumer Affairs, Nassau County, 160 Old Country Road, Mineola, New York, 11501. James Picken, have you seen, this letter went out April 24, 1995, have you seen this year's new telephone number, new business name, new address for Scott Lord? Every year he comes up with a new address, new business name, and new telephone number, and of course a new lawyer. The license number is in the name of Lillian Rosenblum, who I know to be Scott Lord's mother. As the subject of an infinitive, and the subject of an infinitive is the nominative case. Guess who was running the business and violating the Office of Consumer Affairs stipulation of 1989? The license was suspended in December of 1994, the license to this license number. You have investigators all the way up to investigator number 4, Phil Sweet. Why aren't they investigating this consumer fraud? Yours in truth, Glendora, and a copy to Thomas Galata, the Nassau County Executive. And the only other thing that happened on Scott Lord this week was that filing, paginating the log up to date. And there was no mailing this week. Now let me give you the stats for Sunday, the 23rd of April, 1995. Hours on Scott Lord this past week were 2 hours. Money spent was 0. And what is pending on Scott Lord? Pending a decision from the appellate division. And who would that be now? That would be Goldstein and Cupertino and that nice-looking woman who's a judge. Altman. So that oral argument was when? March the 14th, was it? No, it wasn't. That was Coppola 1 and Coppola 2. When was that oral argument? April the 4th. April the 4th. No, that was Coppola 1 and Coppola 2, April the 4th. March 14th would be Scott Lord. That would be Fredman. The bad decision by Samuel Fredman. Like all bad decisions that come out of the Westchester County Supreme Court. Just one other statistic. We're back to getting baseball statistics again. The Scott Lord file is up to 5,966 pages, very, very close to 6,000 pages of bad record. Annette says that her husband's mind is beginning to wander, and her mother says, don't worry, dear, it's too weak to go very far. The boss says that for 80 years he's put his nose to the grindstone, and the new secretary says, wow, it must have been a beaut when he started. And Stephen says about his buddy, is he listed in Who's Who in America? And Stephen says no, he's listed in Who's Through in America. What has happened the week of April the 20th to April the 27th, if you say the past 7 days, on Cablevision 1, lawsuit 1, Glendora versus Cablevision, Dolan, Tata, Quinn, Bell, Osnara, Lusgart, and Randolph. Franklin has been going to the Pace Law Library, and he has been looking up the citations given by the Second Circuit. And he has looked them up, and he has done a very, very good job. And we have sent his notes on the first 4 citations to Judge Bryant and to Robert Perry and to Brian Grafman, the Amici Curiae, and to Robert Kalaji of Sadley, Stevens, Burke, and Burke. That has taken approximately 10 hours to do that. And yesterday he looked up the last 5 and copied them instead of making notes. We copied a few pages of them. The motion or the brief or the paper of Robert Perry, amicus curiae, was submitted to Robert Kalaji on the date that it was due, April the 24th, Monday. And I went to court, to the Judge Bryant court, to cover, just to be on the safe side, because one time last year I lost a motion, I believe, because I didn't appear in person. Judge Bryant is very different and better than a lot of judges, because with Judge Bryant things are not submitted on paper. It's not a correspondence school, it's a real court, and you go there and stand before the judge. That's the way it should be in all the courts. And so that paper got in on Monday, April the 24th. I have not received a copy of it yet. That's too bad, because I can't read it to you. But I would assume that Perry is addressing 3 points. One, did Cablevision violate 531E? No cable operator can exercise editorial control over public usage channel. 2, does Glendora have a private right to enforce 531E? And 3, were Glendora's constitutional rights violated? Well, we all know the answer to those 3 questions. Yes, yes, yes. Now, so I watched Bryant for an hour and a half. His court is always interesting. And this particular week, that case that I told you about before is still going on. The Environmental Protection Agency against some people in Pennsylvania who came up to New York and illegally dumped things around Rochester. And I don't know why it's in the I don't know why it's way down here in the Southern District, but they must have done something wrong in the Southern District too. I called up Cablevision and asked, when is the annual meeting? And for the first time, I got a straightforward answer to my question. It's going to be June the 20th, 1994 at 10 a.m., where? Same place, 1 Meteor Crossway, Westbury. So I will certainly be there and see and watch them try to keep me out of the annual meeting and keep me from speaking. So I will be there. That's Cablevision 1 lawsuit. Cablevision 2 lawsuit, Judge Silverman was supposed to sign the order to rob me of my costs the second time, but he failed to do so. He missed it. His time up, his 60 days were up on April the 15th. He did not sign the order. So I reactivated the sheriff and I went and said that this order has not been signed. Stop the excuses, go out and collect the $695. But the sheriff of Westchester County is a wimp. The sheriff does not do his job. And Richard Johnson has sent it up to Villani, who's an assistant county attorney in Westchester, and Villani is making a ruling. The last time Villani did a terrible job, a botched job. He never put anything in writing. You can't get away with that. And so we will see what he will do this time. And that's where this stands on Thursday, April the 27th, 1995, a Thursday at 10 a.m. So we have to keep after Eakley, James Eakley, to go over to Port Chester to 113 North Main Street, or approximately there, just above the Cablevision office. Go to the Bank of New York and collect that money from the account that's entered as AR Cable Services Incorporated of New York. AR Cable Services of New York Incorporated. That's the old Adams-Russell system. And collect the $695 from that bank account. So we will sit back and watch the laws being broken by the sheriff on that matter. That's Cablevision 2. Was there something else happening on Cablevision 2? That's the one that was in state court before Judge Silverman that I won, and I'm still trying to collect my costs from, and I won it way back July 28th, actually July 14th. Let's see. The New York State Attorney General is still autistic. You don't know whether he's going to intervene or not intervene and protect the laws of New York State, which is what he's supposed to do. Here they are saying that the laws, Cablevision is saying that the laws are unconstitutional, and the New York State Attorney just sits on his gluteus maximus. He's supposed to get in there and defend the state of New York's laws. I don't know. The sheriff is no good. The New York State Attorney General is no good. What do you do? Glendora versus Dolan, Cablevision 3. We have not heard from the United States Supreme Court. That's very interesting, because usually it would be out by now. So maybe they are going to wake up to what's going on in the Westchester County Supreme Court and in the United States District Court, Southern District, and the Judge Broderick decision. It was Glendora versus Dolan. And that was all about 531E, and maybe the United States Supreme Court is going to wake up to the inconsistency of the Second Circuit in the way they ruled in the Judge Bryan appeal and the way they ruled in the Judge Broderick appeal. So maybe something is going on there, something significant, something legal, something lawful, but that's really too much to hope for. You every day to read the Federal Rules of Civil Procedure. I'm up to Rule 22. The law is very, very interesting. The law is very well written. What is botched is the enforcement of the law, the litigation of the law. That's what's bad. Law is adulterated by crooked lawyers and corrupt courts. The log went out to, here's the letter to the Attorney General. These are the to-do lists every day, and I've got good news for you. Last night, I finished my work at 8:28 p.m. I actually finished. I actually had free time. Now that's the first time in how long? Months and months. Here's another letter that went to the Attorney General yesterday, with Cablevision making the allegation that first come, first served, a hallowed public access law for 24 years, Glendora thinks it's time you stepped in and did something about it, namely intervene in the Appellate Division, 2nd Department, and put your foot down. You are acting like a wimp. It is your job to defend our New York laws. This applies to the Cablevision allegation that they are not a state actor, which they are. Why haven't you asked to see the appellant's brief? Why haven't you asked to see the respondent's brief? This is to the New York State Attorney General. Why haven't you asked to see the appellant's reply brief docketed April 17, 1995? It seems Virginia Graffeo should know enough to return a telephone call. It seems Virginia Graffeo should know how to write a letter. January the 18th, 1995 was the 6th letter of mine you have not answered. Here is today's joke other than the New York State Department of Law. Robert bought a talking scale. He stepped on it and the voice said, "One at a time, please." This Cablevision log, Glendora TV log, got out this week to 3 people. This is the original of Judge Bryant's endorsement that he would not, declined to grant the within application for an interlocutory appeal. Oh yes, and what's Kalaji doing now? Well, Kalaji's in a boat that I would not want to be in. He is down in New York trying to write an answer to Perry's paper for full submission May the 8th. On those 3 matters that I spoke to you about, and for which he cannot find a defense. He's tried everything he possibly could to get it out of this court, to delay it, etc., but he has failed to do that. Now he has to face the music. So I would not want to be in his shoes. We'll see what he comes up with on May the 8th. This is this week's log. It's mailing number 132. Cablevision has gone to 7,900 pages. That's only a few pages away from 8,000. Theirs is the worst law-breaking record that we have. Of all of the lawbreakers that we have brought suit against looking for justice, Cablevision is the most odious. Judge Bryan Court, April the 24th, Monday, watching that illegal dumping case. And, on that particular day, they had the IRS agent there, and they were trying to get out of having $400,000 short on their income tax. Nanny is a repeat. They shouldn't have repeats in April. I guess they're getting ready for the May sweeps when they'll have all new programs. I spent $9.80 on Cablevision the week of April the 17th, and I spent 14 and a half hours working on Cablevision the week of April the 17th. Clerks, see Glendora on. getting ready for the May sweeps when they'll have all new programs. I spent $9.80 on Cablevision the week of April the 17th, and I spent 14 and a half hours working on Cablevision the week of April the 17th. Clerks see Glendora on television. They see her in Rockland, and they see her in the Yorktown system. The telephoning is all up to date. The details are all up to date. The law papers are all up to date. The errands are all up to date. Details are up to date. He called us from Atlanta. He's head of the Black Expo. They have a trade show for black people at the Jacob Javits Convention Center every year. And so he called and asked about advertising it on television. So I sent him down all of the specifics on that, how much it costs. It costs $1,300. It would be 30 seconds. It would be on WNBC TV on a Saturday or Sunday afternoon, and it includes the making of the commercial. And if he doesn't change the commercial, the repeats are $800. He says, well, we could only buy one. So that letter went out to him this morning. He asked us to fax it, but you can't do anything like that fast, because you might make mistakes. You have to do it very carefully. Terrific. That's a very brief week on Cablevision. Thank heaven for that. That's probably why I got the work up to date. Has your husband become more decisive lately since he's been taking that affirmative action course? And the wife said, well, yes. Now he makes the wrong decision more quickly. And Arthur is not an only child, but his mother said he would have been if he'd been born first. And Bob's parents were in the iron and steel business. His mother used to iron and his father used to. And now we're going to close a chat with Glendora, program number 1746. On Tuesday night, TCI, the program on TCI was all about Cablevision. And but we didn't get one telephone call. That's very interesting. You take care and keep your courage flaming. Hi there, everybody. Welcome to a chat with Glendora and what happened the 7 days from April the 20th to April the 27th. Diane said they named a town in Massachusetts after her, and her mother-in-law says Marblehead. And Kenneth is always lost in thought, but his wife says that's because it's in unfamiliar territory. And Sarah wanted to marry a man of letters, and she did. She married a mail carrier. What happened on Glendora versus Gannett? Suburban Newspapers, Gannett Company Incorporated, John Curley, its CEO, Douglas McCorkindale, who counts the beans, Gary Watson, who's in charge of the newspaper division, Gary Sherlock, who's in charge of what happens here in Westchester. And these are the directions to 1100 Wilson Boulevard, the site of the annual meeting annually. Yeah, that's where it is every year. And what has happened there is that this is the map, how to get there. Every year we go there, we go wrong. So this year, let's see if we can do it right. It will be south on I-95 till you come to 495, go west on 495, then go south a little bit, and then take Route 66 east. And that'll take you right to Arlington. The log is up to date. The annual meeting is all ready. It's all written, it's all typed, it's proofread, and the typos are corrected. So it's all ready. Gannett is up to 5,300 pages, the record of their law breaking. And I read you the box score on Gannett in just a minute. Gannett Broder. Broder still works for the Reporter-Dispatch, by the way. That's an indication of more bad management that's gone on since 1991 that I know of. The stats. 5 hours on Broder Gannett the week of April the 17th, and $2 spent. The motion to enjoin Kalaji from collecting costs until he stops preventing Glendora from collecting her costs on her Cablevision victory before Judge Silverman. That motion is before Judge Burroughs, and that has to be decided within 60 days. I've forgotten what the return date is. Let's look it up right here. That's the reply affidavit. No, all these legal papers. The return date of that motion is April 7th. Ooh, that couldn't be, could it? Yes, it is. It's April 7th. The return date is over. This is April the 27th. So the return date has come and gone for 20 days, 3 weeks. He's a self-made man. His mother-in-law says it's nice of you to take the blame. And we appreciate your business. The company wrote to the customer, but your account has been overdue for 10 months. We've already carried you longer than your mother. And here's the way to sell a product. If you're going door to door, you say, I want to show you this article that several of your neighbors said that you could not afford. As to what has happened on Cupola 1 and Cupola 2, Glendora versus the New York State DHCR, both in White Plains and downtown on William Street, nothing. The appellate division has not made its decision yet on my appeal. The oral argument on that, I believe, was April the 4th, 1995. Men have great imaginations, don't they, folks? The trouble is they use it for their expense accounts. And a salesman said to Mary, if you buy this freezer, you'll save enough money on food bills to pay for it. And Mary said, please, we're buying a car on the bus fare we save. We're paying for a washing machine on the laundry bills we save. We're paying for a house on the rent we save. We just can't afford to save anything more right now. And the boss said to Ed, you've been just like a son to me, insolent, surly, and unappreciative. And now what is happening on Glendora versus Elizabeth Hubbard, Alan Beck, Michelle Mayapath, Edmund Purvis, and the Fund for Ancient Courts? This week, nothing. The defendants have not got in their respondent's brief. And we haven't heard from the Judge Colabella Court about a hearing for the outrageous lawyer's fees of $4,500. That one we mentioned the the Center for Judicial Accountability. Let me say that over again. The Center for Judicial Accountability, and we would like to have their number put up on the TV screen so that you have a place to go when you encounter these crooked lawyers and these corrupt courts. 421-1200, 914 White Plains. Fund for Ancient Courts has moved from 36 West 44th Street to 19 West 44th Street. So they're closer to 5th Avenue. A student wrote in an essay, life in colonial times was difficult. Kids had to play their video games by candlelight. And Johnny said that he was close to the right answers on the test. They